Jesse here, and these are the Airpods Max. And if you don't count Beats, they're Apple's first pair of over-ear headphones. But as you all have probably heard, they are $550. And I feel like all people seem to be focusing on with this set of headphones is the price. You know, I see all the memes of like, Apple AirPods Max or PS5. But honestly, after using these for a couple of days, I feel like they're not quite as overpriced as people are making them out to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, $550 is an absolutely absurd amount of money to be paying for a set of headphones. Like, I've used other premium noise canceling headphones like the Bose 700s or the famous Sony WH-1000XM4s, and I honestly feel that these are worth more money than those. Now, are they worth $550 though? That's up to you. But hopefully after watching this video, you're going to have a better idea of whether or not these are for you. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at the AirPods Max. So first up, we're going to be talking about design, and these are definitely a very unique looking pair of headphones. They look sort of retro and modern at the same time, and to be honest, when I first saw them, I didn't really like them that much, but the more I see them, the more I look at them, the more it grows on me. And I will say that I feel like they look better in person than they do in the pictures. There's just a lot of little touches here and there that make you feel like you're getting your money's worth, like the little chamfer around the stainless steel ring on the headband, or how the left and right indicators are stitched right into the fabric of the ear cups, and overall just how tight the tolerances are and how precise all the little cutouts for the mics and the buttons are. It's just really impressive and something I feel like you can't really appreciate until you get them in hand. I did have a friend tell me though that these kind of look like those PPE earmuffs that people wear for protection, and honestly, I kind of can't unsee it. But overall, I still really like the design. These are also without a doubt the best built headphones that I've ever felt. So it's an all metal construction with the headband being stainless steel. And while most premium headphones do have a stainless steel headband, this one's different. Like on most other headphones, the headband usually has like a thin ribbon of stainless steel, but on these, it's like a much thicker cylinder, and it just feels a lot stronger and more substantial than those do. They also did a good job of making it not too strong and rigid. It's still pretty springy and doesn't provide too much clamping force. The headband ends in kind of a ball head hinge type of thing that's hidden inside of the ear cup itself. They're also spring loaded, which I thought was a really good play because I feel like it just adds to the overall sense of quality that you get when you're handling these. On the right ear cup, you've got the digital crown, which is basically a bigger version of what's on the Apple Watch. You can use it to change the volume, play, pause, skip reverse, or call Siri, all that good stuff. And you also get a button to toggle transparency mode on or off. The button and the crown both feel really good. There's absolutely no play in them whatsoever, and just pressing them is really satisfying. They have a lot more travel than you typically see in a headphone button, but honestly I really like it. I don't love that they're on the top of the headphones though, because from an ergonomic standpoint you just have to reach a little bit farther. And it's not a big deal, but I typically find it a little bit easier to access controls that are just closer to the bottom of the ear cup. I also think I would have preferred touch controls over these buttons on the top. Now I've heard a lot of people say they've had issues with touch controls in the past, but I just personally haven't had that issue before, so I just think it's a shame that, there's this huge surface on the side of the headphones and you can't really do anything with it. The ear cushions are super nice, and Apple decided to go with a fabric covering instead of leather, which I actually prefer because it breathes better, and also I've had this issue with leather ear cups where they kind of grip my skin a little bit and sometimes will like pinch me. The foam that they use is also incredibly soft and just feels great. My favorite feature though is that they are magnetic and very easily detachable. Also, the magnets are just so satisfying. Like, you guys know that I'm just really into like these fidgety things, and that's incredible. So yeah, if after a while the foam starts to bottom out or like the fabric starts getting a little bit dirty, which is I guess one of the downsides of a fabric ear cup, then you can really easily just pull them off and replace it. But it's going to cost you a pretty penny because they're $70 on Apple's website, which is ridiculous, and there's no way that they're actually worth that much. But Apple kind of has a monopoly right now, and I'm sure that in the future there will be third-party ear cups, but for now, that's all you got. Okay, so moving on to comfort, these are extremely comfortable, and I had pretty much no issues wearing these for really long periods of time. More so than pretty much any other headphone I've tried. So like I said, the ear cups are super soft and the fabric is really smooth and feels great on the skin. They're very breathable and I hardly ever found myself getting hot in them. They're also surprisingly deep and my ears don't touch the drivers, which is great because that's one of my deal breakers. I think clamping force was also really well managed. And I feel like clamping force is one of those things that's really tough to get right because you want enough force that they stay on the head, but not so much that it feels like there's a vice on your head. And I feel like Apple was able to find a really good balance with these. Like the way that the headband and the hinge work together, most of the pressure is actually on the top side of your ear rather than the bottom where your jaw is, which to me is just a lot more comfortable because I feel like my jaw is a lot more sensitive to long-term pressure than this area above my ear. It's not perfect though because with all the premium materials, with all the metal, it just comes out to be a very heavy set of headphones. So these weigh almost 400 grams compared to about 250 grams on most other similar headphones. And while the canopy headband system actually works really well in distributing the weight equally, you just can't really get around how heavy these are. Like it's really not bad if you're just sitting down, not really moving around much, but if you like tilt your head to one side or the other side, or just turn your head really fast, you can really start to feel the extra weight. It's funny, like towards the end of one of those longer listening sessions, I found myself subconsciously just not wanting to tilt my head back when I was going for a drink of water because my neck was so tired. So overall, yeah, I would say that the weight is significant, but for me, it's not a deal breaker because they get every other aspect of the comfort right. And I would go so far as to say that if these were lighter, these would pretty much be the undisputed most comfortable headphones that I've worn. Okay, so now let's talk about sound. And I just want to preface this section by saying that I am not an audiophile and I don't really claim to be an audiophile, but I do enjoy good sound. So for $550, these better sound good. And to me, they do. I feel like Apple has found a really good balance with these headphones. They definitely aren't flat, so if you want them for like music production or studio use, then I would definitely recommend getting something else. But if you just want like a really good listening experience, then I really like these. I threw all kinds of music at it, from classical to rap, pop, jazz, and they all sounded great. And it has enough bass that I feel like most people aren't really gonna want more. I wouldn't say that they're like the bassiest, punchiest headphones that I've ever heard, but you do get a lot of bass and you even get a little bit of that like deep booming sub bass as well. That's great for if you're listening to rap. It also does a great job at keeping it controlled so that it doesn't bleed into the mids and just make it sound a little bit muddy. I think the thing that impressed me the most about the sound though was how well controlled the high end was as well. Like the high end is just really unharsh, I guess, and really easy to listen to. And one of the things I think makes this really easy to listen to for long periods of time. And I was also really impressed with how tight Apple kept everything, even at max volume. But I will say that the max volume on these isn't quite as loud as I would have wanted. Like for me personally, I feel like it's good enough for most situations, but I know a lot of people like to listen to their music really loud. And I would say for those people, these probably aren't going to cut it. Like I would say the AirPods Max at max volume is about like 2 or 3 ticks down on my Bose 700s. But overall, I'm just really satisfied with the sound on these. Noise cancellation is also top notch, and I would say it's better than the Bose and the Sonys. It uses 9 microphones, including some inside of the ear cups. Like they do a pretty much perfect job at canceling out like lower droning noises, like fans, engines, or really anything that's lower frequency. But I also feel like they do a better than normal job at canceling out higher frequency noises as well. Like this one time, one of my friend's ringtones went off and all I had to do was press the noise cancellation button and it was totally gone. And normally with noise canceling headphones, higher pitched noises like ringtones usually don't get totally canceled out like that. But with the AirPods Max, as soon as I turned the noise cancellation on, I couldn't even tell that the ringtone was going off. And that pressure feeling that you get from noise canceling headphones, I would say it's still there, and it's a little bit more significant than something like the Bose, but it's not really that noticeable and it's pretty well controlled. You can also turn noise cancellation off and go into transparency mode, where you can actually use the mics to pump in sound instead of blocking it out. And most other noise cancelling headphones do have this feature now, but I would say that the AirPods Max have the best transparency mode in any headphone. Like with transparency mode on other headphones, I would say that usually it works, but it still feels like it's kind of muffled and it just doesn't sound right. But with the AirPods Max, it truly feels like you're just not wearing any headphones. Okay, so here is the mic test. So I'm recording from the AirPods Max mic into voice memos on the iPhone. So this should be pretty much as good as it gets as far as audio qualities from the mics get. So I'll just turn on a faucet right here just to see how it handles kind of background noises, how it isolates the voice as opposed to picking up all the background sounds. Yeah, so it's running right now. You guys can tell for yourself what it sounds like. Just gonna flush the toilet over here, and yeah, I don't know how good it sounds, but I tested it out a little bit earlier, and to me it sounds pretty good. So yeah, here you go. Here's the mic test. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Battery life is rated for 20 hours, which I feel like isn't great. It's not mind-blowing, but it is enough for me. Like my Bose 700s, which are my daily drivers, are rated for 20 hours as well, and I never found an issue with those. They also have a quick charge feature where you can get 1.5 hours of playtime with a 5-minute charge. So I feel like the battery, to me, it's fine. It does charge via Lightning though, and not USB-C, which, I gotta take points off for that. So features wise, if you're connecting to an Apple device, then you get some pretty cool stuff. So like the AirPods and the AirPods Pro, as soon as you take them out of the case near an Apple device, they'll connect automatically, which is really nice. It just uncomplicates things. It'll also automatically switch between your Apple devices depending on which one you're using. So like if you're on your phone watching a video and then you switch to your laptop, then it'll automatically switch, which I think is great and super convenient. You also get spatial audio, which debuted on the AirPods Pro, where basically it'll sense where the headphones are in relation to your device and make it sound like the sound is actually coming from the physical location of the device, which I think it's really cool and the technology is very impressive. But personally, I don't really care that much about it, but yeah, it's really cool. There's also an optical sensor, one in each ear cup, where basically if you take the headphones off, it'll automatically pause whatever you're listening to. If you connect it to a non-Apple device though, you lose a lot of those features, but you can connect it to like say an Android device and use it as a regular set of wireless headphones. Okay, now onto what I consider to be the worst part about this whole product experience. The case. Now, I'm not so mad about the look as much. Like, yes, it does look like a bra, it does look like a purse, but functionality wise, I think it also has a lot of shortcomings. Like, first of all, protection wise, you're really not getting much. I would say it leaves the most delicate part of the headphones exposed. Like, I feel like if you throw these in a bag and the canopy headband like snags on something, then it will rip. Also, when you pull the headphones out of the case, the two ear cups will always clink together and there's really no way around it. There's also no place to put extra cables like the charging cables or an audio cable, which by the way is $40 extra. I can think of like two pros for this case though. The first one is it automatically turns on when you take it out and then automatically goes into the low power mode when you put it back in. I just like it because it saves you those extra couple of seconds that you need to press the button, wait for it to turn on, and then wait for them to connect. With AirPods Max, by the time you have them on your head, they're already on and connected, which I think is just a better, more seamless experience. And this is kind of a con too though, because well, you have to use the case to turn them off. There's no on or off button on the headphones themselves, and they will go to sleep after about 2 hours of inactivity, but they'll be draining battery the whole time. The second pro is that you don't have to reset the length of the headband every time you put them in the case. So because the headband is exposed when it's in the case, you can just leave it at whatever length you want. And again, it's just one of those things that's not really that big of a deal, but it'll just save you a couple of seconds every time you take the headphones on or off. But overall, this case is terrible, and I could totally see Apple coming out with like a pro case that costs like $200 that will just be better. But for now, this is what you get and you're just gonna have to deal with it. But at the end of the day though, are these worth $550? And in my opinion, no. I feel like a fair price for them would be like in the $450 to $500 range, which is not all that far off from the real price. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think these are overpriced, but only by a little bit. Yes, they are expensive, but you're getting probably one of the best built headphones I've ever felt, one of the most comfortable headphones I've ever felt, great sound, great noise cancellation, and amazing integration with other Apple devices. I also feel like the price point being so high on these will in itself give it a little bit more value to certain people. Like for some people, there's going to be that exclusivity factor where you kind of know that not a lot of other people are going to have the exact same headphones as you. And I'm not saying that should matter, I'm just saying that for some people, that's going to be a selling point and something that makes it worth it to them for $550. And for what it's worth, these are sold out until pretty much March. So even though people are complaining about the price, people are still buying them. So yeah, there you go. Anyways, that's all for this one. If you guys still have any questions about the AirPods Max, then just leave it in the comment section down below and I'd be happy to answer it. Remember to smash that like button, and if you enjoy content like this, think about subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss anything. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!